In this video, we'll be going over how to read a periodic table. We're going to take a look at two periodic tables, this black and white one right here, and this colorful one here in a little bit. Let's start with the black and white one, and let's start with how to locate elements on the periodic table. First of all, you need to know that the rows, they are called the periods. So, for example, this would be called period 2 because it's in row 2, and this would be period 3 because it's in row 3. So we can say that sodium is in period 3, lithium is in period 2. Okay, how about the columns? What are they called? The ones that go up and down? Well, there's two names for these. These can be called families, or most commonly, they're called groups. So then that means that we can talk about the position of beryllium. We can say that beryllium is in group 2 because it's in the second column, and we can also say that it's in period 2 because it's in the second row. Okay, how about another element? What about phosphorus? Which period and which group is this one in? It's in group, either you can say group 15 or you can also say group 5A. So you can use the bigger number on top, or you can use the number in the letter. So that's the group because that's in column 15, column 5A. And how about which period is it in? It's in period number 3 because it's in row number 3. So that's how you can use period and rows to locate the elements on the periodic table. Next, let's talk about what's the what are the symbols and the numbers, and here's what do they mean. Let's switch over to the colorful periodic table here. So let's focus on boron. Boron, there's you see there's the number 5 right here, and then there's the 10.81. So this number 5, this is called the atomic number, and that tells you how many protons the element has. That means that boron has 5 protons, carbon's atomic number is 6, carbon has 6 protons, nitrogen has 7 protons, and the number of protons is extremely important because the number of protons determine the identity of the element. Every element has a different number of protons. So if you change the number of protons, you're changing the element. So the whole number is called the atomic number, and it tells you the number of protons. The bottom number right here, this is called the average atomic mass, or sometimes you can also hear this is the molar mass. So this is the average mass of the element. So the top number, the atomic number, number of protons. The bottom number, or the non-whole number, it's the average mass. Sometimes certain periodic tables they can have the mass on top and the atomic number on bottom. So just remember, the whole number is the number of protons, and the decimal number is telling you the number of the average mass. So let's switch back over here. Look at the organization of the periodic table. It's organized according to the atomic number in order increasing atomic number as you go from left to right. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means that the elements in the periodic table are organized according to the atomic number. Now let's talk about the main groups or the main families that you need to know the name of. We'll start with this right here, column 1A, ignoring hydrogen. You understand why we ignore hydrogen in a little bit. So this column, this is called the alkali metal section. And then the second group, that's called the alkali earth metals. The other groups that you need to know the second to last one. That's called halogens. And this next one you definitely will hear of. These are called the noble gases because they are extremely stable. And then there's one other group. And it's this group right here, this big section right here. Those are called transition metals. You can remember this because you can just think of you're transitioning. This is the platform that you transition from one side to the other side. In some classes, you'll also learn about the lanthanide series and the actinides, but a lot of chemistry class tends to skip this. But if you need to know this, then just know that the second last row is called the lanthanide, and then the last row is called the actinide, but you probably won't see this in the majority of your chemistry classes. Then we also have to talk about where the metals are and the nonmetals are. So let me switch over to a third periodic table for this one. Okay, so this periodic table shows where the metals, nonmetals, and metalloids are. You can start with the staircase or the stairwell that starts from boron and goes all the way down. And generally, for most classes, you can just remember the elements to the right of the period, the stairwell. They're going to be nonmetals. So these blue elements, they're nonmetals, with the one exception of hydrogen. Although hydrogen looks like it's to the left of the stairwell, it's actually a nonmetal. So that's why when we were talking about the alkali metals, I didn't include hydrogen because hydrogen is actually a nonmetal. It's not a metal. So to the right of the stairwell, you typically have your nonmetals, and then to the left of the stairwell, you have the metals. There's a lot more metals than nonmetals. That's how you can remember which one's the right and to the left. Or another way you can remember is just pick one of these elements. Like Fe is iron, Ni is nickel. You know that iron and nickel are metals, so that's how you can remember the elements to the left of the stairwell, the staircase, are metals. And then in some classes, you do need to know the elements are metalloids. Just think of metalloids as a mixture. They have some metallic properties and some non-metallic properties, so they're metalloids. And the metalloids are these yellow elements over here. Some classes you don't need to know metalloids, and other classes your teacher will require you to know where the metalloids are. So just to recap, we talked about what periods are, what groups are, the the names of the main groups, such as alkali metals, alkali earth metals, halogens, noble gases, and transition metals. And then we also talked about what the atomic number, what this big number here is, that's the atomic number, and then the smaller number is the average atomic mass. And then that symbol is just the element symbol. And that's how you read a periodic table. If you want to learn how to ace chemistry, if you want to learn what's the best way to study for this class, if you want to learn some neat tricks and tips to take into your exam and do better on them, then you should head over to my website and get this free guide, 12 Secrets to Acing Chemistry. You can head over to www.conquerchemistry.com/chemsecrets. I'm going to include a link in the description below. Check it out. I think it's really going to help you, and you're gonna like it. Until next time, keep working hard and continue the good work.